Men, welcome to another video on the Longevity Strength Coach YouTube channel. Today I'm trying something different, and the reason I'm doing so is because there is a lot of information out there that is taken for really good information, and it's pretty terrible, to be honest. And there are some people on YouTube and other social media platforms which are distributing absolute garbage. One of those gentlemen I've come across today is somebody called Joe Wicks, and this is his 10-minute seniors workout. And I'm using this for educational purposes. I have seen 30 seconds of this video, and I thought it'd be very good for me to talk through exactly what is going on here, if it's effective or if it is absolute garbage. If you think you will appreciate that, then stick around. This is myself, a former paratrooper, critiquing Joe Wicks' 10-minute seniors workout. Bearing in mind, I run an online coaching service for men over the age of 40. It is going to be extremely interesting to see if I agree with Joe Wicks' advice. I'm not going to put the sound on because he will just kill me with copyright. So we have got a 30 degree squat here and a little bit of weird arm movement. He's starting. Okay? You've got less than a 90 degree squat. I'm going to try and let a little bit of it play. This is going to be 10 minutes. I'm going to cancel it straight after 10 minutes. I'm also going to make my face a little bit bigger here. Hopefully you appreciate that. Right. So straight off the bat, right, when we do not work our joints through a full range of motion, our joints don't get strong. The general theme in the fitness industry, and this geezer is a perfect example of that, is being afraid to get seniors working through a full range of motion. If you don't work through a full range of motion, your joints do not get strong. People should not be afraid of doing movements through a full range of motion. This garbage of a third squat with a little bit of weird arm movement, what are you doing? And he might be just warming up, right? So no range of motion, no intensity, and maybe just elevating the heart rate up. Here we have another thing, right? Joe Wicks calls himself, I think it's the body coach. And look at the size of him. He's just an average man. You know, that's kind of in average shape. So the resting now. I'll be extremely satisfied if I see any of these movements with a full range of motion. Right, so now we have a bit of a mobility exercise for the hips, a bit of external rotation, but it's not intense. There's no intensity there. He's probably saying now, if you've got limited range of motion, then stay within your means. However, if you do not go full range of motion, you do not strengthen the joints. He's doing external rotation here, better variations on the floor, and if you're doing this squat movement, stop moving your arms like a weirdo, elevate your heels and go all the way down. If you haven't currently got the flexibility to do that, then you will build the flexibility to do that by doing a movement that exposes full knee flexion. If your knees are sore, find a variation in which doesn't cause you much pain and explore these movements. Doing this doesn't make your knees strong. It's absolutely terrible, right? However, it's very accessible. That's why people do it, and it's very easy. This stuff is exercise, right? It's not training. So he's doing weird hip movements now. I'm assuming this is part of his warm-up, and if it was part of his warm-up, then I would absolutely understand. This kind of is okay for a warm-up. But I'm very interested to see if the session kicks into gear and there is actually some training, especially training of the knee joint, which are the most injured joints in seniors. Balance, right? I like the idea of balance because weird arm movements. All right, okay. To be honest, I like the idea of balance. Balance, when people are getting on a bit, a reduction in balance could be the difference. Could be the difference in them falling over when they're making a cup of tea or something on a morning. So ticking off balance as you're getting on a little bit is definitely something that should be part of the parcel. However, I wouldn't be putting it early in the session like this. I'd be finishing with it. I'd just get all your strength training in. Strength train at high intensity, 90 and 95% intensity, through a full range of motion. And all of this stuff towards the end. Yeah, this requires a little bit of stability of the glutes, and it requires a little bit of stability of the ankles, right? Balance is okay, it makes sense, right? There's a lot of studies in saying that we should be training balance as we're getting older. However, what are you doing, man? This crap proper does my head in. I'm going to stand on one leg and I'm going to do bicep curls. If you want to expose your balance, do something which exposes your balance. Don't just throw random exercise in there and hope that you get a jack of all trades. Do an exercise which makes you good at something, and then do another exercise that makes you good at something else. Don't try and put two average exercises together because it ticks two boxes. You think it ticks two boxes. In fact, it does both of them terribly. There's no benefit to the biceps here. There's no strengthening of the elbow joint. Yeah, okay, he's working his balance. What he could do in this scenario is go single leg, yeah? Doesn't need to move his arms. Don't need to move your arms. All you need to do to build your balance in this scenario is get this knee higher and then close your eyes. If you close your eyes, the amount of intensity that is coming in now for your balance at your ankle and your hip is so much worse, so much more effective. Also, putting your hands in the air, putting one hand in the air, stuff like that. You don't need to be doing a crappy bicep curl. That's pointless. It's a complete waste of time. You're getting no benefit out of that. I'm going to skip that because that was annoying. Right. No intensity at the ankle, no intensity at the shoulders. No, he's not even doing full range of motion. This is what I see a lot, and it is a hesitance to train seniors, train people over the age of 40, over the age of 50, over the age of 60, over the age of 70 at a high intensity. These people they need it the most because they are well under, the decline is well underway for them. This is not going to strengthen anything. Think about it. You're doing a little step sideways and you're kicking your heels back. What's that doing? It's not doing anything at all, right? Break it down. If you want to focus on your quads and a side step movement, right, okay, do a side squat. Do a side squat with your heels elevated if you haven't got the range of motion at the ankles and hips. Why are you doing a little daft heel raise? It does nothing for your hamstrings. You could do this. You could do it all day. And yeah, you'd feel fatigued, muscular endurance, but it's not building strength. The problem with every exercise I've seen here is none of them build strength, none of them build power, and none of them build speed. Seniors are currently in a downward spiral, especially those that don't train, are in a downward spiral because every single year their type 2B muscle fibers reduce by about 1%, 10% a decade. These exercises are doing absolutely nothing to counteract that. Focus on exercises which do one thing really, really well. This is embarrassing. right, okay, he's probably talking about breathing now. Breathing in through your nose, out through your mouth. Yeah, all right, okay. So squat hold. Squat hold is actually, I'm going to let it play through. Squat hold is actually, it's fairly effective for helping build range of motion and reduce knee pain in certain areas, certain regards. So squat holds are okay, but the problem I'm seeing here is it's just nowhere near low down. And for some people this may be difficult, and what I would do on the longevity program is I'd get them standing against the wall. If they've got like sore knees and stuff like that, I'd get them stood against the wall and build into a range of motion for a 30-second hold of 90 degree at the knee joint. Once they can do a single leg 90 degree at the knee joint, then I would get them squatting, immediately squatting with weight. That is their cue to start squatting. You're doing all this, nothing. Think about the joints here. Think about the joints. The only joint that's working through a full range of motion here on this weird sidestep leg exercise is his fucking elbows. And there's no resistance. But it's a leg exercise. It's a full body exercise. Full body exercises are crap. Especially when they're done like this. No resistance, no range of motion. Stop being scared to train people that are middle-aged, 50, 60 and 70-year-old to a high intensity. It's amateur hour as a coach. Proper amateur hour. If you're scared to train them intensely through a full range of motion, you do not have your brain capacity to make the exercise easier and safer, but still prescribe them with a high intensity exercise. You are an amateur as a coach. This stuff will elevate your heart rate, you'll burn a few calories, you might feel a bit better for the next half an hour that you've exercised, but it is not going to reduce any joint pain, it's not going to strengthen any of your muscles. And you know what the common theme is here? The common theme is all of these exercises look like warm-up exercises. Now, I'm not saying that someone that is considered a senior, 50, 60-year-old, doesn't need to warm up. But warm-up exercises should not be your training. Training should be training. And training comes from good execution, the ambition or the aspiration to have perfect technique. It comes from training hard, and it comes from good tempo. Like, look at this. Nothing, a little stretch and a little bit of knee flexion. Think about it. Are your knees going to get stronger? If you have chronic knee arthritis, then maybe this would be a start point. However, very quickly, you need to move on to exercises that allow you to strengthen your knees fully. This is 30% range of motion. If he doesn't have the capacity, like I said earlier on, if he doesn't have the capacity to make an exercise easier to allow full range of motion, you're not going to reduce pain. You're not going to build joint strength, joint resilience, or any sort of athleticism well into your later years. This session is not going to make you strong. So what's it doing? Wasting your time. Anything else? Anything else? Right, gentlemen, I tried something different today. I critiqued Joe Wicks as a paratrooper, his training methods for seniors. To summarise, do not make your main training sessions like a warm-up. Because if they are like a warm-up, they are only going to make you warm. They are not going to get your muscles, joints stronger, more resilient, and you're never going to build your athleticism. Train hard. Train through a full range of motion. The stuff that he's been telling you to do there is just going to make you warm. That's not good enough. You deserve better. Joe Wicks should be prescribing training that reverses the decline of your type 2B muscle fibers. those that are responsible for power, speed and strength. Yet he does not do that. Horrendous.